All right, Nintendo is actually going to be the last conference that I'm going to cover because the other ones that I planned to cover didn't really have anything worth like noting. For example, like Capcom didn't have anything new. Bandai Namco, I think they had already revealed like more on Elden Ring and stuff like that. So I think they didn't want to go out of their way to reveal more on anything else. And they dedicated their whole presentation to House of Ashes, I think. So I wasn't gonna cover it just for that, but I will cover Nintendo because Nintendo actually had a lot to show and a lot of good stuff too. So let's get into it. The first thing that they revealed was Smash. They actually started with the Smash reveal, which I'm actually surprised. I thought they would have kept that for the end, but they started off with the Smash reveal, and it was Kazuya from Tekken. And I did not expect a Tekken rep to come. I mean, I guess it wasn't completely impossible since we already had Street Fighter and King of Fighters. I think that's what what's it called? Terry's from, right? Well, he's from Streets of Rage, but I think he's in King of Fighters too, right? But I was not expecting a Tekken rep. And Kazuya is definitely cool. And when they showed off the gameplay, I thought I was looking at Tekken at first. I literally thought when they showed that like Kazuya v Kazuya, like that fight, I literally thought I was looking at Tekken. And he actually looks like he plays a lot like Ryu, where he has that thing where like if you're doing a 1v1, like he faces you like in an actual fighting game. So he kind of has that going on. And also like his movements and stuff, they kind of look like Ryu's, but I think that's more so because like just Tekken movements look like Street Fighter movements more so than just like, you know, Ryu and Kazuya specifically in Smash are like similar. I think it's just because of the original games, not so much, you know, the representation in Smash. But it's still very, very cool, and he looks super fun to play. I'm not the best at like those characters that you need to put like their actual in-game inputs to like add extra effects to their moves, such as Ryu, for example. But he still definitely looks super fun to play. I'm really, really, really loving these unexpected reveals. I always have certain people that I want to see at these Smash reveals. I want to see Crash. I want to see Spyro. There's certain characters, for me specifically, for example, I really like platforming characters. I love when they're added into Smash, like Banjo, for example. That was like the coolest reveal out of all the fighter passes. Sephiroth was really cool too, although he's not a platformer, but there's certain characters that I just really love to see, and a lot of them are so happen to be from platformers. Obviously, I'm not disappointed that, for example, Crash wasn't there. I think Crash is like my number one pick. I am not disappointed that Crash wasn't there. In fact, I'm actually really happy that every time they show a reveal, it's like you can't expect what it's going to be. You can't predict what it's going to be because it's always so unexpected. And it's always like, at this point, you can't even predict whether it's from Nintendo or not. It could be anything. It could literally be anything at this point. And I'm honestly really loving it. And it constantly makes all these Nintendo Directs super, super interesting. And I can't wait to see the last character. I can't wait to see what they're going to, well, supposedly end it on. I'm sure it's going to be crazy. They proceeded to show some random games that are coming to Switch, like Guardians, which is nice because usually we'll see another game, for example, I'm going to talk about later, that took a year to come on the Switch. But anyways, Guardians is one of them. They talked about Worms, Super Monkey Ball, a new Super Monkey Ball. I think it's called Banana Mania, I think. And they also showed off Mario Party Superstars, which looks to be... At first, I thought it was going to be a compilation of minigames and new minigames, because that's kind of what they were saying. But then they were showing that you had like classic party map, like party maps from like Nintendo 64 Mario Party. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but very, very interesting. I feel like that has a lot of potential. Next, we have arguably the biggest reveal out of this whole conference, out of this whole Direct rather, which was Metroid Dread. And it's not Prime 4, and they said that they're still working on Prime 4, so at least we got a little update on, you know, Prime 4 still exists. It wasn't canceled, it wasn't, you know, at least it's still in development, which is fine. I'd rather wait for a product and get something good than rush it and get something shitty. So it wasn't Prime 4, but I will take it. It's in a classic Metroid style in terms of like gameplay. It's like the side-scrolling, like classic Metroid type style of game. It looks actually really fun, and it looks kind of like, I'm not sure if I'm going to explain this properly, but with Metroid Fusion, I feel like Metroid Fusion just kind of stands out from the other Metroid games. I can't exactly explain why, but to me, Fusion really does stand out. it's almost like I wouldn't say a spin-off, but it's almost like just like a different game. The vibe of Fusion is different than like the mainline Metroid games, and I feel like Dread kind of has that feel where it just feels different from mainline Metroid games. For example, this game looks like it plays like Metroid Samus Returns a lot. Like they kind of have like the melee thing where like she slaps, or like she hits people with her arm cannon and stuff. Like the gameplay looks kind of similar to Samus Returns, but yeah, the game feels different. I don't know if it's like her armor, I don't know if it's the setting. The enemies are very different than the Metroid enemies you'd usually see. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is, but I'm super interested in Metroid Dread. I can't wait to see more of it, and obviously I'm super excited that it's actually coming out this year, very early too, like in October. We won't even have to wait until December or anything. Super hyped for that. Next, they showed the port of DBZ Kakarot for Switch. I don't really have much to say about the port itself. It's cool. I guess kind of like Fighters. Switch got it a year later. It's cool. My thing is, I just don't understand why Nintendo always has to be behind with things like this, you know? They're getting Guardians, I'm pretty sure day one. I'm sure they're getting it day one. I'm not exactly 100% sure. Like, I don't have the date in front of me, but it wouldn't make sense for them to get it later than day one. Nintendo always has this thing where like they don't necessarily get all the games, or they don't get them right away, and I don't understand why. Like, it's cool that DBZ Kakarot is dropping now, a year later, but why couldn't it drop on the Switch a year before? It's still the same console. I'm just not sure why this always happens with Nintendo. Next is Mario Golf Super Rush. I am not someone who's ever been interested in Mario Golf at all, but I'm not gonna lie, this game looks kind of fun. The party modes look really fun, to be honest, where like you like hit the ball and then you start running, and like I don't, it just looks fun. It looks like a mix of like Mario Party minigames with like just golf, I guess, and it's like a race too, because like it looks so fun. It looks like a lot of fun, and I was actually really surprised because, like I said, I don't care about this series, and usually like the Mario Sports series doesn't do anything for me, but I was very pleasantly surprised with this one. They also showed off WarioWare Get It Together. I haven't played a WarioWare game in forever, but I know I used to love the ones on DS where there was like quick time events mini games, I guess. This one doesn't look like it's gonna be that. It looks more like a party game kinda, and I'm all for it. It looks fun, and I'm probably gonna give it a try. And finally, obviously, or maybe surprisingly, actually, they had to show Breath of the Wild 2. They had to, and I'm very, very happy that they did. It looks like more of the same from the trailer. There's maybe some new things in there, some new gameplay mechanics. I don't think there's gonna be anything like world changing or anything like completely changing of the gameplay. I don't think so. I think it'll be more the same, and I love Breath of the Wild, so I have no problem with that. Although I gotta admit, it does look more like DLC than a sequel. But so far, I'm not shitting on the game. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying it looks more like a DLC than a sequel. Obviously, there's not much to go on other than the fact that they'll add the sky, they said, as a playable area. Pretty sure that means that there might be like a sky island or something, which if it's going to be like a new world, I highly doubt it'll be the size of Hyrule in Breath of the Wild. Maybe in Breath of the Wild 2 you have access to like a part of Hyrule, or maybe a different part of Hyrule, and then that sky island. I have no idea, but I'm very excited to see what Breath of the Wild 2 is going to do. It's coming out in 2022. That's the release date that they gave us. No month or anything, just a year, which to me kind of tells me that it might be coming next fall. So, probably later rather than sooner in the year. I don't really have a problem with that. I'm very excited for Breath of the Wild 2. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with it. Overall, I think Nintendo did their thing. I actually couldn't pick between them and Xbox what my favorite conference was, which is crazy. I never thought I'd say that about Xbox, but here we are. Metroid Dread coming as sort of a compensation for Metroid Prime 4 being so late. I'll definitely take it. Although obviously I know that's not exactly what it is, but that's basically what it feels like, that they're just giving us Metroid Dread as like, okay, it's coming. Just here you go. Just play this in the meantime. Prime 4 is coming. So, hey, I'll take it. I'm happy with that. We finally got a time frame for Breath of the Wild 2, and it looks like it's going to be more of the same, which is greatness. And again, we got a time frame that's not too ridiculous next year, that's realistic. That's doable. I'm hyped. Smash reveals, still crazy. Still carry as much weight as they ever did, and they're still so surprising every single time. Completely unpredictable. Honestly, Smash is like, no one is really doing it like Smash right now in terms of like reveals, but I guess no other game is really able to do it like Smash. But there's so much hype every time a character is revealed in this game. It's crazy. Like I said, definitely a tie between Xbox and Nintendo for best conference.